It's like a cheapy potpourri up in here. I just sprayed pretty much everything that's going to be on this list. So, we finally made it. We're at the third list for spring. The 10 cheapies. Are you excited? I hope you are. You're going to get a lot of good suggestions here, so stay tuned. Before I get started here, I want to talk about something real quick. When I got into fragrances, cheapies were the way for me to get in. I learned about niche fragrances, and when I started seeing the prices, I said, well, no way that's going to happen. I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. Needless to say, eventually I did it. But I started out with these fragrances, the cheapies, the clones, a lot from the house of, let's say, Armaf, Lomani, TJ Maxx stuff, anything I'd come across just to start building that collection. And you know what? Cheapies are always a good way to go, because even though they sometimes don't perform all that great, you still get relatively decent fragrances, good smelling fragrances. So what's the worst case scenario? You have to reapply, you have to respray through the day. So what? At the price point that most of these come in, it's well worth doing it. I have 2 honorable mentions here on the cheapie list. I like to do that usually when I get to the cheap stuff, because the more cheap suggestions, the better, right? So, my first honorable mention is an Armaf. And it is a fragrance that I relate to being an Aventus clone, but it is more of an Aventus clone from the fruity batch, not the smoky batch, with a little bit of maybe Dior Sauvage in it. And that one is Armaf Tres Bon. Check that one out. Nice little bottle there. Not a bad package, right? Good cheapie. Honorable mention. Tres Bon. The next honorable mention I have is also from the house of Armaf. And that's Armaf's Derby Clubhouse Blanche. This one is a clone or a inspired fragrance for Armaf, similar to Silver Mountain Water, and it is probably one of the better ones, and again coming in at a very cheap price point, which I will link everything that's in this video, even the honorable mentions, so this way you can make a decision and go out there and get them yourself. I'll even put if they are inspired by something or the same as something in the notes below in the description, so this way you know what fragrance you're getting in similarity. Okay, so let's get to my list. At number 10, this thing is dirt cheap. We're talking $8. It's been a little harder to find lately. I happened to be lucky when I first got it, and I really lucked out. It's Rehab Silver. Now, Rehab Silver also is a Silver Mountain Water inspired fragrance. I found this one to be a little bit better than the Armaf version. Unfortunately, it comes in this little bottle, but for $8, buy 3 of them, buy 2 of them. Keep one in your pocket. This is a great fragrance to have. Beautiful, you know. Right there with Silver Mountain Water, 95 to 98% the same. Dirt cheap, and this one actually does perform pretty well. At number 9, I have a fragrance by Michel, Germain, and it's called Deauville. It's an aromatic, spicy fragrance. This one could be found cheap. I at first, when I got it, didn't really care for it, but then I revisited it because lately I've been into these fougere barbershop fragrances, and this one kind of fits that profile. So I went back and I actually like spraying it, and I sprayed it a few times. So for what I got it for, it's well worth the price. And there it is. Another cheapie for you. Number 9. Number 8, we have a fragrance, a celebrity fragrance, which is an aromatic fougere. So there you go, another fougere. And it is Jay-Z Gold. Now, Jay-Z Gold has been harder to find lately for some reason, but I'm sure there are some discounters that have them. You may even get lucky in a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx and find it hiding behind something. You know, whenever you go here's my little bit tidbit for you. If you go shopping at TJ Maxx or Marshalls and you're hunting for these fragrances, make sure you go through all of them. People will hide stuff in the back to come back later and pick it up, and you know, then you'll miss out. So always flip the boxes over, check them all out, because you never know what you find hiding behind something else. Onwards. So at number 7, I have another one from the house of Armaf, and this is Tres Nuit. Tres Nuit is green Irish tweed, basically. You get a really good version of green Irish tweed, 95 to 98% close to green Irish tweed, those familiar with that, and the price point, again, can't be beat. So that is another great cheapie to have in your collection. If you want to start off, let's say you want to have a bunch of creeds, Armaf is the house that has a lot of creed inspired fragrances, and you can build a mini creed collection without actually spending creed money. So that was number 7, Armaf's Tres Nuit. At number 6, I have a fragrance from another house that you find very often in TJ Maxx, and that is English Laundry Signature. This one is pretty basic, oriental woody. It's got lavender, it's got sandalwood, it's got some cedar. It's a decent, clean office fragrance. Again, cheap, not very expensive, and you know, something that you could, you know, even make it your signature scent, hence the name Signature. It's not something that lasts very long, but again, reapply and you'll have yourself a good signature scent for the day, and something that'll smell good on you for the day, unoffensive, and smells clean. Good office fragrance. At number 5, I have a fragrance from a house that should be on a cheapie list, pretty much always, at least one fragrance. And it is from the house of Zara, and it is Zara Man Silver. Zara Man Silver is pretty much Gucci Guilty Per Homme, which is a lavender, citrus, and cedar fragrance as well. Again, if you're familiar with Gucci Guilty Per Homme, a nice clean fragrance, and when you get a Zara, you know the Zaras are running usually less than $30 a bottle. Again, another good cheapie, made of good quality, because the Zaras usually do perform pretty well. At number 4, one of my all-time favorite fragrances. This one now is real cheap, and I don't know why it's so cheap, but I guess the house of Bulgari gets discounted, and so they are cheap. And this is Bvlgari Per Homme Soir. Now this is a beautiful tea fragrance. I used to wear it. It's a soir, which means night, and I used to wear it when I would get dressed up and go out at night. So for me, I always saw it as a more upscale fragrance until I found out about niche, and now I'm calling it a cheapie, and I almost feel bad for the fragrance, but I still have it in my collection, and I will keep it in my collection, because this one definitely gets compliments. This one definitely gets asked what it is that you're wearing almost every time I wear it by at least one person. So that's Bvlgari Per Homme Soir at number 4. At number 3, in my opinion, for the price, there's a ton of these out there. People are tired of them. You know what I'm about to talk about. Again, from the house of Armaf, I have Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now we all know what this is. Anyone who's paid attention to any of the videos knows that Club de Nuit Intense Man is a Creed Aventus inspired fragrance. For me, when you first initially spray it, not the best smelling fragrance. The opening could be a little harsh, a little synthetic, but in the dry down, it's Creed Aventus. The longevity, projection, the sillage, it's got it all. For the price you pay for this fragrance, listen, this could be your only fragrance for all I'm concerned with, and you'll be good to go. Trust me, you don't really, if you're not a collector like I am, and most of the people that are in the community are, this is a perfect fragrance for you. Just to have, it's versatile, could use it every day, night, any situation. Club de Nuit Intense Man by Armaf. At number 2, recent discovery, and a happy discovery for the fact that it was less than $20, and the fact that it emulates or is inspired by, or maybe not inspired by, I can't say that this house would have inspired fragrances. I'm not really familiar with the house until I discovered this fragrance and came to discover that it was very similar to my favorite fragrance. And that the fragrance I'm talking about is Franck Olivier's Eau de Passion, which is 95 to 98%, maybe even 100% similar to Chanel's Egoiste Platinum. I bought this fragrance for less than $20 on eBay. Probably one of my best purchases as of late. And let me tell you, it is spot on. And this is one of those fragrances, again, if I have to reapply this through the day just to smell like Chanel Egoiste Platinum for less than $20, I'm going to do that. I love Chanel Egoiste Platinum. This now allows me to not use up my bottle of Chanel Egoiste Platinum, my older formulation and my new formulation. So at number 2, Franck Olivier's Eau de Passion. Now, my number 1. Not one of the cheapest here. It's probably the most expensive one of the lot. But with the discount code that the company offers, you can get this fragrance probably below or around $40. This fragrance is also inspired by a way more expensive fragrance. The fragrance I'm talking about is Duo Fragrances Best Citrus Ever. Now, Best Citrus Ever is inspired by Henry Jacques' Irois, which was a Harrods exclusive, which I believe was going for around 600 pounds. 600 pounds translate roughly to about $700 to $750. You know, you got iris, you got lavender, you got lemon leaf. And the lemon leaf is what separates it, I think, and creates this different note of citrus that most other citrus fragrances don't have. And for me, I just love this fragrance. I can't believe that a citrus can be made the way this is. And as I have found, for me, duo fragrances tend to last a long time. The sillage is there. They are definitely worth what you pay for, and they do a very good job of creating inspired expressions of higher, hard to find, more expensive niche fragrances. And they also will do fragrances that are no longer out there, the discontinued fragrances. And this one, I believe, also is discontinued. I went looking to see what the exact price of Henry Jacques' Irois was, and I could not find it. So I had to estimate based on the rest of their line what the going price was for this fragrance. So there I gave you 12 cheap fragrances, 2 honorable mentions, my top 10 for spring 2019. I hope you find some value in this. I hope you enjoyed the list. I'm going to leave the links below, like I said before. For you NYC Fragrance family members who are subscribed to my channel, thank you for coming back. For those of you who are not, please subscribe to my channel. You'll get the content as it comes out, like everybody who's already subscribed. Please like this video. Please leave a comment and give me any suggestions you might want to see, things you might want to see on this channel, things you like about the videos, things you dislike about the videos. You know, criticisms are something I need to take. I am new and I am working on producing content for you, the viewer. And I hope you continue to come back and watch and enjoy. So, with all that said, if you smell good, you feel good. Have a nice day.